In my previous video on Kalpanaswaram, I had talked about arithmetic as being one of the features by which you build the Kalpanaswaram patterns. Quite a few of you expressed your fears about attempting Kalpanaswaram. Do not worry, there are many ways at which you can approach this subject. As instrumentalists, both our hands are occupied on the instrument. So we don't have the liberty of using our hands to be able to keep a tab with the talam. So either you have to keep it in your head or you have to create systems by which it can come out naturally. You'll have to internalize certain things that will then flow out naturally when you're playing the exercises. One of the very precise method could be the Jati method. What is a Jati? Jati is the language or the conversation that percussionists or the percussion instruments like mridangam, tabla, ghatam, kanjira, they use this method for conversing with the music. Whereas we Carnatic musicians, we approach our songs through notes. Percussionists approach the music through Jathis. These are syllables, solkatta they call it, which are used for specific numbers or number of matras, which then are joined together to create beautiful patterns. You can tag Kalpanaswaram by itself to precision, by which I mean you can start the Kalpanaswaram at any point in the talam, but you must end it precisely at that last matra from which the Sahityam takes off. The Sahityam takes off in the very next mantra as composed by the composer. So in today's video, I am going to show you how you can plan your Kalpanaswaram with the help of these Jathis. So that these Jathis also, by the way, I must tell you, if you practice them really well, they help in your Tanam as well. And you will see these same Jathis are going to be used there to create the Laya for the Tanam. So let us now go and see what are the simple syllables that we can learn to get this fear of Kalpanaswaram out of us. Every syllable is attached to a number. When you say number 1, then you can use the syllable ta. Ta, 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 ta. Sa, ni, every note, every mantra here is attached to the ta, 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 ta. So when you mention ta on a paper, one note can be written for that ta. It denotes one matra. Then for a 2 matra, you can say ta ka. Nisa pani ga pa re ga, nisa pani ga pa re ga, without a pause. Nisa pani ga pa re ga, ta ka. One matra for ta and another matra for ka. Now for 2, if you want to denote a pause, Deen, Tom, those syllables can be used to denote 2 matra pauses. They can also be extended to 3 matras, Deen, 3, Deen, 4, Tom, 6 matras. They can be extended for any number of pauses. Pauses are very required in Kalpanaswaram to make the ragam flow. You need to be as close to the ragam in the making of your Kalpanaswaram. Always remember, don't get lost in the mathematics and lose sight of the ragam or the composition for which you are going to play the Kalpanaswaram. The raga bhava must be there it must be integrated in the swarams that you are making. This is for 2 matras. Either it is a taka or a deem or a tom where pauses have to be denoted. A dhimi also, for that matter, can be used for 2 matras. Then when you have to denote a 3 matra, it is a ta ki ta. Ni sa ni pa ni sa ga pa ni re ga pa, sa ni pa pa ga re ga, re pa ga ni pa sa ni ni. That is also ta ki ta, ta ki ta, ta ki ta, ta ki ta. One note for each one of the ta is 1 note, ki is 1 note, ta is 1 note. You can make any type of variation for that ta ki ta, but you have to definitely use 3 matras for the ta ki ta. If you want a pause for a 3 matra structure, you can use a 1 plus 2. What was 1? 1 was a ta. 2, you have a pause syllable, I told you, deem can be used for a 2 matra. Ta-deem, 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 ta-deem is a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Nisa, pa, ni, ga, pa, ni, ga, sa, ni, pa, ga, ni. All of these are takita equal to takita 3 matras. Ta-deem, ta-deem, ta-deem. The only difference between takita and ta-deem is that ta-deem has a pause element to it. Then we go to 4 matra structures. Very common, takadimi, takajanu, takadimi, takajanu. You can also use a tarikita. So this language is quite simple. 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4. If you play it 4 times, 4 4s are 16. You already get a 6 matra. You can play it in different ways. Sani, sani. That is 4. Sani coming down, sari going up. Or you can just come down in the arohana. Sani, paga. Or go in the arohana. Nini, paga. The Janda Varsa in ni. Nini, paga, papa, gari, gaga, risa. Or you can put the Janda Varsa in the middle. Ni, paga, paga, gari, gari, risa. So there are many ways by which you can bring an idea into the 4 matra structures. Add all of them and get as many matras as you want. A korvai for 32 matras also you can do a takadimi, 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 takadimi. It will sound monotonous, but to start off, that is also an idea. Now if you want to bring pauses for a 4 matra structure, so you have a deem, tadeem, 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 with the deem being 3 matras. So how do you do it? Sani, ni, pa, pa, ga, ga, ri. The pause is 3 matras. If you have good control over odd number pauses, you can go for this. Or if you feel you want to stick with the even numbers, so tadeem, ta, tadeem, ta. 1 plus 2 plus 1. 1 plus 2 plus 1. Ta is 1. Deem is 2. Again a ta is 1. That makes it 4 also. So tadeem, ta, tadeem, ta. Gari, sa, ni, sa, ni, sa, ni, pa, ni, pa, ga, pa, ga, ni. Easily you got that, without even having to think, how do I make 4 matras? The tadeem has already given you the idea. Let's now go to the 5 matras. There is a very beautiful phrase in music for 5 matras, a Panchakshara phrase. Ta, ding, ge, na, to. Just by uttering these 5, you've already got the 5 matras. Ta, ding, ge, na, to. Ta, ga, re, sa, ni, pa, ni, sa, ni, pa, ga, sa, ni, pa, ga, re, ta, ding, ge, na, to, ta, ding, ge, na, to, ta, ding, ge, na, to. You might think this is being repetitive. Yes. Normally, when a Kalpanaswaram, which has been sung over many avartanams, has to come to an end, there is something called a tirmana. You have to finalize a chunk of patterns which when you start and when you finish, it is precisely finishing at that point of the talam from which the sahityam goes into the correct mode. So for that, people generally use these kind of repetitive playing. Gari sa ni pa ri sa ni pa ga sa ni pa ga ri pa ni sa ri ba, something like that. I'm just giving you as an example for a 5 matra structure. Ta dingi na tom, ta dingi na tom, ta dingi na tom. Suppose you want another variation, 2 plus 3 can be used. Taka takita, taka takita. The advantage in taka takita is you can go for taka, you can go sari. Takita, you can say sa ni sa. Sari sa ni sa. Sari sa ni sa ni sa ni pa ni pa ni pa ga pa ga ga. Or you can say gari sa ni sa ni sa ni pa ni sa ni pa ga pa. Or you can also say sa ni pa ga ga ni pa ga re re. So you can use a Janda Varsi to sa ni pa ga ga ni pa ga re re. Taka takita, taka takita. That is possible. Now we want a pause in 5 mantras. So what do we bring the pause instead of takita, taka takita, you say takata deem, takata deem, takata deem. Gaparisa, parisa, nizarina, garinisa, sani paga, pagari, pagarisa. So that made your 5-5 mantra structure. Takata deem, takata deem, takata deem. How many ever? 4 times if you use this, 5 4s are 20 has happened to you. Now we go to the sixth mantra structure. The same tadinginatom, the panchaksharam that I spoke of for 5 mantras, if a pause is put in one of those, the jati, tadinginatom was 5. Suppose you say tadinginatom, it becomes 6. Tadinginatom, 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 ta. Gari sani pari sani paga sani pagariga. I said I added the ga so that 6 3s are 18. You have repeated the 6 matra structure 3 times, so 6 3s are 18 plus the 2 for the ga. Gari sani pari sani paga sani pagariga. So you already got 20 matras just by repeating that phrase. 6 can also be a takita takita or a takita tadim. Takita tadim. Nisani garza, nisani risa, pani pasani, sani pagari, pagari sani, pagari sani, pani zariga, rega panisa. So all this was a 6-6 matra. Takita tadim, pani zariga, panisa is takita, riga is tadim. Pani sa riga, rega panisa, sani sa ni pa, sani sa is a takita, tadim ni pa. See how you can just keep changing your ideas for the takita and ideas for your tadim. Ni nisa, ni nisa is a takita, tadim nisa, ni nisa, panisa nisa, pasani nisa. All of them were takita tadim. Takita tadim. Endless creativity. As long as you sit patiently with it, put the notation. So takita tadim, I said, instead of saying takita tadim, you can say ta takita dim, ta takita dim. 1 plus 3 plus 2. That is also 6. Pagari gari. Pa is a ta. Takita dim. The pagari gari. Ni paga paga. Sa ni pa ni pa. So, whatever syllables you put the very first time, interchange it. And you get totally different arrangement. Now, from 6 we move to 7. The same panchaksharam we'll take. Tadinginato. Now, you add one more pause to it. Tadinginato. That is 7 matras for you. Again, this is used in the Tirmanam, the ending core wise. Ga, di, sa, ni, pa, di, sa. Ni paga sa ni pagari. Tadinginatom. Tadinginatom. So it was a 7 into 3 times I played it. 21 matras. Out if it's an Adi Talam, 32 matras. 21 you already got with this repeated phrases of 7 matras. Now 7 matras can also be an addition of a 3 plus 4. Takita takadimi or a tadim takadimi. Or it can be a 3 plus 3 plus 1, tadim, or tadim, tadim. So tadim, tadim. That's quite interesting. We'll take that. Tadim, 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 tadim. Sari, sani, sa, ni, sa, ni, pa, ni, sa, ni, pa, ga, pa. Tadim, 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 tadim. So, again, 7 matras, you can slightly differentiating between the tadinginato. This is a little bit of a different phrase from that. Then we go into the 8 matra. 8 is a normal 8. If you want to play a simple 8, it's a 4 plus 4. You can even make it a 3 plus 2 plus 3. 3 plus 2 plus 3. Takita din takita. Pani baga pagari. Pani baga pagari. Beautiful 8 mantra finish. Sani paga pagariva tapi takita din takita. You can repeat that many times. Takita din takita, takita din takita, takita din takita. 3 times if you repeat it. 8 3s are 24. Out of 32 you already got 24 in this phrase itself. Of course, you have to change the positions of the takita din. Once you play it with sa, another second time you play it with the pa and takita. For example, takita din takita. Gari sa ni sa ni sa. That is one place. Then you say pani sa ni pa ga re, takita dim takita pa ga re ga re sa re ga. So the sthanam of the takita dim takita changes. First time it was a ga, the second it's a pan. Finally it is the lower madhyamasthayi ga. So that was 8 matras. 9 going into 9 matras. You can have again a combination of 9 matras will be a 4 plus 5 or a 3 plus 3 plus 3. You get 9 matras, and with pauses, of course we know it. Takita tadim takita is 9. Takita 3, tadim is 3. Again a takita is 3. Gari ri sa ni pa. Gari ri sa ni pa. Gari ri, I incorporated a Janda Verasa in the takita. Then tadim sani. Then takita sani pa. You can also do takita tadim takita ni sani pa ni pa gari. 9 matra structure is over just like that with a takita tadim takita. So you see how you can easily make the 1 plus 2 or a 3 plus 4 or a 4 plus 5 to make longer patterns. Join these patterns in a very creative manner. You can join a 9 matra phrase with a 7 matra phrase with a 6 matra phrase and so on, and make the long chorwise, so that you are building it's like actually you are building a structure. The structure has to be beautiful. It should be raga based, and it should be also, to a certain extent, as it moves into bigger chorwise, complex phrases. For all of this, you must actually get into the habit of writing down for every raga that you are attempting to do your Kalpanaswaram for. First, listen to the composition, listen to Alaapanas in that composition, understand the flow of the raga and the composition before you even attempt to write down your Kalpanaswarams. Because when you are writing down your Kalpanaswaras, the underlying character that must be flowing all the time is the raga. So first listen to a lot of compositions in the said raga that you want to do your Kalpanaswaram. Listen to Alaapanas in that. Absorb, internalize the ragam within you, and then start writing these Jathis for the Kalpanaswaram, starting from the lowest. It is always very nice to incorporate the odd number phrases, the 5 matra phrases, the 3 matra phrases, because they add to the beauty of the complexity. So I hope you understood how to use Jathis in order to make your Kalpanaswarams. Please write down. It's a lot of hard work. For people who get it naturally, it's a different thing. For those of you who have to work towards it, first of all, take that fear out of you. I hope I've made it very simple. You need to understand the aspects that go into making the Kalpanaswarams. So both of these videos that I've made on Kalpanaswarams are definitely going to clear your doubts on how to actually attempt these swarams. If you have any doubts, do write to me in my comment section. Thank you.